comedian Hari Kondabolu on Conan O'Brien, Jimmy Kimmel, and Comedy Central. He's performed at top comedy festivals all over the world, including Montreal, Edinburgh, and India, the nation that his family came to America from. This weekend, catch Hari's very funny and thought-provoking commentary at the Comedy Underground. For tickets to a show tonight, tomorrow, or Saturday, go to comedyunderground.com at bobrivers.com. Hari Kondabolu, welcome to Seattle and the Bob Rivers Show. How are you?
I appreciate it. I'm good. It's nice to finally be here.
All right. Yeah, have you come to Seattle much before?
I started here, actually. This is my first scene. Comedy Underground open mics from 2005 to 2007.
Wait a minute, are you from Seattle?
I'm from Queens, but I lived here for a couple of years.
Did you want to go away from New York and develop your comedy?
That was a big... I came here, actually, I was an immigrant rights organizer. I did comedy at night, and it's something I did in high school, throughout college. It was like something I loved. I didn't
when did you move to the U.S.?
I was born in Queens.
So you're a first generation.
Yeah.
Your parents came here from where?
From India in the late 70s.
India's pretty big.
Oh, Andhra Pradesh. So it would be Hyderabad would be the capital.
Okay, I'm sorry. Now I have to try to remember how to pronounce that.
But because in New York you don't get stage time. There's tons of rooms. You get tons of stage time, but it's in front of other comics, and you get 2 minutes, and you have to pay all your friends basically to go. And in Seattle, it's I could do stand up whenever I wanted.
That's right. There, my son did that. There's a lot of open mic.
Incredible.
So hang on a second though. In New York, also, from what I remember, and I used to live on the East Coast. So it's a while ago. But the crowds are vicious.
Oh my God! Because they can see, if you can see Seinfeld or Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle on any random show any night, just drop by. Who cares about this random comic and 8 people? You know what I mean?
And they heckle.
Ruthless. They're ruthless.
Yeah. In Seattle, everybody's like, good job.
Right.
Nice try.
I've been the Seattle standing ovation is such a confidence boost. Just everyone gets it. You get 10% for participation here. That's how this works. Just for trying.
Now you've had a pretty interesting life. You've done some interesting things. You were an intern for Clinton.
For Hillary.
I know that. Well, Hillary, I should point that out. Well, what did your duties include?
Well, it was funny. They were so big on puns. We were called Clinterns, and our softball team was Hills Angels. I'm like, really? We're doing
wow.
It's awful.
Was this pre or post Lewinsky?
This is post. This was when she was a senator. This was 2003.
Had the internship program changed by then?
Yeah.
Well, it was one of those things where, I guess they called us Clinterns to avoid the word intern as much as possible. That could have been it. It was fun.
We now call them unpaid assistants.
Right.
But wait a minute. The White House, you do get some money, though, right?
Well, this was the Senate. So I was unpaid.
The Senate. Okay, so New York. Oh, of course, Senator Clinton.
Yes.
And you were unpaid.
I was unpaid. Yeah, I think I did it through another program, so I think they gave us some stipend. Yeah, but it was unpaid. I was in the mailroom the whole time.
Were you a comedian while you were doing this?
Yeah, I've been a comedian since I was 17, since high school. But it really only took off after I got to Seattle. That's when I was doing it every night.
So to intern for were you doing it for life experience, or were you deciding comic, work for a senator? Not sure.
Oh my God, comedy wasn't even in the picture till 2007. After a couple of years here, I got discovered in Seattle. But that was just something I loved to do, and I always wrote jokes, and I'd get up when I could. But yeah, I was thinking maybe politics or law, and it was I was in college, and I had this amazing opportunity, and I was in the mailroom the whole time.
So politics and law are 2 other great ways to screw with people's heads.
right.
You're one of the more educated comedians, I think, going. Don't you have a master's degree from London University?
London School of Economics. I have a master's in human rights.
This guy is smart.
Wow.
I've wasted a lot of money. A lot of it.
So is there, let me ask you this, because I haven't heard you yet, and I'm dying to hear you this weekend.
I'm very good.
I know, well, you wouldn't have got in here without that. And plus your resume. But so do you have is there your comedy, I assume, has a depth of understanding to it?
I try to.
That you through subtlety and humor want to hopefully teach.
There's a lot of that. At the end of the day, if they're not laughing, I failed, right? So people always say, "Oh, you're so smart. The comedy's so smart." I'm like, just say funny. I want you to say.
I just want
funny.
you to laugh.
I want you to
even
laugh.
I want to trick you with the smart stuff.
Right. If people say they got something else out of it, I'm always appreciative. But it's if they're not laughing, I haven't done my job. This is comedy,
You have a high school mascot named after you.
Yeah.
Before you were famous?
Yeah. I was a senior in high school, and we never had an actual mascot. We were the Hawks. We never had a physical mascot. So a sophomore named Mark Florman got a mascot, and he could name it whatever he wanted. And he wanted to name it after me because I was starting this comedy night in school, and I guess he didn't have much perspective on the world. And he named
Is it called the Kondabolu?
It's called Hurry the Hawk.
Hurry the Hawk.
See, now I thought you were going to say you went to school and the mascot was the Indians, and you kept saying not that kind of Indian.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing. I'm 17. I have this undeserved legacy. I've been trying to live up to that mascot my whole life. I mean, that's what I have to do.
Was high school tough for you?
It wasn't. High school was tough for everybody, unless you're a terrible person. Like it's
Easy on the terrible people.
the best people had a miserable time.
Right. The bullies have
What
an easy
comedian
time.
had a great time in high school? I can't imagine a comedian was like, oh no, I just love comedy, but yeah, I never had to cope with anything. You know what I mean? Like, no, high school was all right. It was a little rough. We went to a school, Townsend Harris High School in Flushing, Queens, and like it was like 4-1 girls to guys, but all the guys were kind of like dorky, so like all the women dated outside of.
Or you had to watch them fish elsewhere.
Yeah, it was like at prom. It's like this is terrible. Like everybody's from another school. But yeah, it was incredible. I mean, I grew up in Queens. It's just,
If you're from India, do people assume you're a big software engineer and smart at math?
There's all sorts of I mean, especially here. I
like
think
good stereotypes as opposed to really bad.
But still, it's like limiting. I'm like, when I say that my background was in like immigrant rights organizing, I went to get a master's in human rights, and I'm a comedian. Like people's minds just explode. They melt. They're like, well, I don't. But
what would you do?
You don't fit into our box. How does this work? How do we talk to you as a human? You know, it's always that weird thing.
Now, we have a big Indian population here in the area, especially because of Microsoft.
Shout out to
A
Microsoft.
lot of people from India that come over here to work. Are those the kind of guys that go and see your show?
Sometimes.
Oh yes, only people that look just like him go to his show.
That's how it works in the South.
Well, you know, when some of the great, a great black comedian, you look at the audience, there are white people there, but there are plenty of black people.
There's certainly support. You know, I think because there is that kind of like whoa, because it's still fairly new. The idea of like a South Asian comic, it's fairly new. And when you're here, I certainly get like a good amount of support. But I also know that there are folks who come with certain expectations, and they come to see me, and they're severely disappointed because I don't really talk about ethnicity very much or do accents of my parents. Like that never really comes up. So it's one of those things where why is he talking about all this race stuff? And
There's no like curry. What's up with that?
Right. If anything, I would, it's usually me making fun of like advertising where that's like I've had somebody advertised a show like where they called my show Rice Laughs and Curry Sauce. And that I was going to spice it up with my own blend of South Asian humor. It's like I'm just going to disappoint after that. There's nothing.
Man,
if you're expecting that kind of show, my